Hey, this is C&D channel. I'm Chris. This is MMA for you. I'm going to be doing my predictions for UFC Fight Night 40. Brown versus Silva. It's Matt Brown versus Erick Silva, not Travis Brown versus Antonio Silva. Which happens on May 10th. You got the main card and prelim portion of the card on Fox Sports 1 with the rest of the prelims on Fight Pass. Overall, I actually like this card. A lot of these fights look like they'll be fun. Mainly a good amount of stand-up fights here, actually. Not many of them look like they'll be grinders. Maybe Lentz, Gamburyan. The Fight Pass prelims look kind of like grinders. Maybe not the two-minute fight, though. You got a heavyweight fight between low-level heavyweights. Could be a first-round finish, or it could be sloppy, gassed-out heavyweights. Got some flyweights on here, too, which looks pretty good. So overall, I actually like this card as far as just entertainment value goes. Let's get started. We got Matt the Immortal Brown versus Erick Indio Silva. Well, Erick Silva has a 16-4 record with 1 no contest, 4 wins by KO or TKO, 9 wins by sub. He's 29 years old, training at Team Noguera X Gym. Right now, he's currently trading wins and losses, and that's pretty much been his MO in the UFC. Win 1, lose 1. He's actually coming off a win, so if you're going by that stat, he should lose this fight. Otherwise, though, he does have some really good stand-up. The only problem is he's really reckless. You can see that in the stun gun fight, especially where stun gun managed to knock him out. After Erick Silva was doing pretty good, his takedown defense was really solid in that fight. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills are actually really good too. He watched the Jason High fight, and you can see, he did this like crazy triangle off of a sprawl, I think, armbar off a sprawl. And his cardio though, this is 5 rounds, so his cardio. You really sound the way he fights in such a hectic pace that it just doesn't seem sustainable for long periods of time. He's really strong in the first 2 rounds. But his cardio, you saw it in the John Fitch fight especially. Fitch can really sap your cardio, but just his overall style of fighting isn't conducive to great cardio. Matt Brown, 18-11 record, 11 wins by KO or TKO, 5 wins by sub. He also has 9 losses by submission. So out of his 11 losses, 9 are by submission. He's 33 years old on a 6-fight win streak, training out of AMC Pancration with the likes of Demetrius Johnson. Way to describe this guy, he's like one of the Miller brothers, Dan and Jim. He's just really tough and gritty. He's a guy that's really hard to put away with strikes. I don't think he's been put away with strikes yet. He's always pushing forward. His stand-up's been greatly improving. He's been knocking guys out, like Mike Pyle, Mike Swick, Jordan Mean, some really good guys. He has some good knees. He's getting into clinch. Good knees from the clinch. His chin's pretty good. His offensive Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is really good. That's the thing. Offensively, this guy will actually throw triangles on armbars from his back. He'll go for stuff. He went for Darrell like Chris Lytle. He's good offensively. Defensively, and his overall submission defense has shown not to be that great. But you have to think, the last time he lost was against Seth Baczynski, and he pretty much just fell into guillotine from half guard that looked really loose and tapped out to it. He last fought in April 2013 when he beat Mike Pyle, so that's a factor too. Now here's the thing with this fight. Is Matt Brown still that same guy that's tapping out to half guard guillotines from Seth Baczynski? Because Erick Silva, 9 of Erick Silva's 16 wins are by submission. He on the ground, he's legit good. on the ground. His stand-up's good too, but he's just really reckless. So is Matt Brown that same guy? You know, because I think if Erick Silva wins, it's actually probably going to be by submission. In the stand-up, I can see Erick Silva doing really well, but I can see Matt Brown taking over the fight, especially if it goes like the whole 5 rounds. It's his style. He looks at guys when they're like looking tired and stuff. He goes after them. You can see that in like the John Howard fight, for example. He goes after people, even if he's tired himself. He wants the Stephen Thompson fight. It's like, you know, he's just kind of durable or kind of resilient in that sense. The thing with Erick Silva too is if you pick Erick Silva, it's potential. You know, his potential though doesn't live up to his resume because he hasn't gotten over that hump. He looks good against top guys, even in loss, whether it's like Dong Hyun Kim or John Fitch. He beats mid-level guys relatively easily, but he doesn't have that top 10 win yet. So, and also, he's something of a Melvin Gillard in a sense, where you can see it. You can see the stand-up. But unlike Gillard, you see his really good ground game, too. You see everything's there. It's just a matter of, will it show itself? Will he not make like some big, you know, defensive error or not? It really is a sense of like this guy's potential. His skill set's really good. It's just, is he going to get over the hump over Matt Brown? With Matt Brown, is he the same guy that got submitted and got this like 3 or 4 fight losing streak with most losses by submission? How's he gonna do after the layoff? Right now though, 6 fight win streak over progressively better competition. Some good names in there too. Mike Pyle's a good name to have under your resume, and to beat that guy in the first round, pretty good. Jordan Mean, good guy to have under your resume. You know, I think I gotta go with Matt Brown here. I'm tempted to go with Erick Silva because of the potential he has, but the fact of the matter is Matt Brown's shown improvement in the stand-up, a good clinch game. He's really tall and lanky, and he's using that to his advantage. He's always pushing forward. I think he can outlast Erick Silva. So yeah, I gotta go with Matt Brown to win this one. Okay, next fight after that, Lorenz Larkin fights Constantinos Philippou. It was called Costas Philippou. Well, Philippou has a 12-4 record with 1 no contest, 6 wins by KO or TKO, 1 win by sub. He's 34 years old on a 2-fight losing streak. He lost to I know one of them is Carmon and Luke Rockhold. He's big for 185. I mean, the guy's a thick dude. He has some good inside boxing. He uses combinations well. And when he's like against Carmon, he looked really bad with his takedown defense. If you watch some of his other fights against like Fukuda or like Court McGee, he's shown really good takedown defense. That's the thing. I think changing camps from the Serra-Longo camp to, I forgot what other camp he went to, kind of affected him in that sense, his overall grappling game. Lorenz Larkin has a 14-2 record with 1 no contest, 8 wins by KO or TKO, 6 wins by sub. He's 27 years old, training out of Millennia MMA. He's a good kickboxer, really unorthodox. He'll go for like jumping strikes at times. Good kicks, you know. His takedown defense is solid, and he's actually shown it pretty consistently too. Watch the Carmon fight especially. I mean, the guy just couldn't take him down. And his overall grappling is improving as well. This guy will try to go for guillotines. You can actually see him trying to go for submissions. One of the biggest problems with Lorenz and Larkin is what a lot of people say about him, and he kind of say too, is it's his output. He has really low output because he's always looking for it always seems like he's looking for the perfect strike, and it seems like always affect his output. Otherwise, I gotta go with Larkin here. I think he has more. I think he can use his kicks really well, similar to what Luke Rockhold did against Philippou. He's not as long or tall as Luke Rockhold, but I think he has a lot more diversity. Philippou has to really get inside to beat Larkin, so I think that Larkin can play a range game here and get the win. Okay, next fight after that, Daron Cruickshank fights Erick Koch. Well, Cruickshank has a 14-4 record, 8 wins by KO or TKO, 1 win by sub. He also has 2 losses by submission. He's 28 years old, has Taekwondo-style stand-up. He uses spinning kicks, spinning strikes. His kicking game's really strong, and his takedown defense actually isn't too bad either. Erick Koch, 14-3 record, 4 wins by KO or TKO, 7 wins by sub. 25 years old, training out of Rufus Sports. Really solid kickboxer. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills are pretty good, actually. He didn't get to show it too much, but his overall grappling's really good. And he has shown some pretty good takedown defense himself throughout his career. I remember when he fought, I think he was Chad Mendes' first opponent in the WC. He did not make Chad Mendes look good. That's the thing. And ever since then, he's only gotten better and better. I'm going to go with Erick Koch. I think he might be able to get the fight to the ground if he needs to. I think he's definitely the more... I think he's more technical kickboxer, I guess. Whereas Daron Cruickshank is definitely the more flashy guy. Should be a really fun fight, though, but I got to go with Erick Koch to win that one. Okay, next fight that, Neil Magny fights the returning Tim Means. Tim Means, and this is at 170, so at a weight class that Tim Means probably should be fighting at. He used to fight at lightweight, and he's came in heavy before at lightweight. He has a 20-5 record with 1 draw, 15 wins by KO or TKO, 3 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by submission. He's 30 years old. He's 6'2". Neil Magny is 6'3", so it's not going to be a huge height advantage. He's on a 2-fight win streak, training out of Fit and HB. Another guy that trains out there, I believe Ray Borg actually trains out of there. He has some really good Muay Thai skills, strong elbows and knees, always pushing forward. One thing about Tim Means, though, his takedown defense is just not very good. Saw it against Danny Castillo and Jorge Masvidal. He got taken down consistently by those guys. He does work off his back really well, but his overall takedown defense isn't that great. Neil Magny, a guy that I didn't think was going to stay in the UFC very long. 9-3 record, 2 wins by KO or TKO, 2 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by submission. He's 26 years old. He's 6'3", training out of the Grudge. His stand-up's greatly improving. He's sound in his last fight. I forgot who he fought. It may have been Tumanov or Tuhugov. I'm not too sure. It's one of the Ovs. I just forgot which one. I think it's Albert Tumanov. He was using his range really well. And his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills are pretty solid. So he's a guy that's actually been improving. And a guy that I honestly didn't think had staying power in the UFC, to be perfectly honest with you. He actually looked pretty good in the Seth Baczynski fight as well. But the thing is, though, I've always been impressed with Tim Means, especially his offense and the stand-up. The guy is brutal, man. This guy knows how to hurt people. And you can see it in a lot of his wins. And the regional scene when he destroyed Pete Spratt pretty much. And I forgot who else he beat. Really good guy. Really good offensive stand-up from Tim Means. I gotta go with the Dirty Bird to win this one. Tim Means for the win. Next fight after that, Soa the Hulk Palelei fights Ruan Fangs Potts. Well, with Potts, he has an 8-1 record, 4 wins by KO or TKO, 4 wins by sub. He's on a 3-fight win streak. He is a finisher. He's fought pretty much his whole pro MMA career in EFC Africa, and it's his first fight in the UFC. He's fighting Soa Palelei, 20-3 record, 16 wins by KO or TKO, 4 wins by sub. He also has 1 loss by TKO, and 2 losses by sub. He's 36 years old on a 10-fight win streak. I think the last guy to beat him was Daniel Cormier or something like that. He is a finisher. He's never been to decision in his pro MMA career. He does have good stand-up, some really heavy hands. I mean, this guy's a big dude. He comes in at 265. He's billed as a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. You didn't really see it too much in the Nikita Kralov fight. Did get to see it in the Pat Barry fight. His cardio is terrible, though. If you get this guy past the first round, he starts to not look so great. Despite that, though, I haven't seen much of Potts, but from what I've read, I haven't read the greatest stuff about him. So Palelei, for all his faults, I mean, he's not that bad. He has a lot of experience. I'm gonna go with Soa Palelei to win this one. And finally on the main card, we have Chris Cariaso versus Luis Smolka. Cariaso, 16-5 record, 3 wins by KO or TKO, 2 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by submission. He's 32 years old on a 2-fight win streak. He has solid Muay Thai, good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills. He's a good scrambler too, actually. He can scramble his feet pretty well. Luis Smolka, 7-0 undefeated record, 2 wins by KO or TKO, 4 wins by sub. Trains at Hawaii Elite MMA with the likes of Russell Doe. He has some solid stand-up. He knows how to scrap. He's Hawaiian, after all. In his last fight against Alp Oskalik, he showed some good scrambling ability and some overall good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills. I actually liked what I saw from Luis Smolka. I'm going to go with him for the win, but I always see this by Chris Cariaso. He's one of the most solid fighters out there. He can look... he looks pretty good against high. He never looks that bad per se. Whenever he fights, even in losses against higher competition, whether it's Michael McDonald or who was he fight? He fought who was it? Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt from Nobuno. He looked good against him. Even against John Moraga, he didn't look too bad until he got guillotined. He's a guy that'll always look good. He looks good against high level competition, even against losses, and just solid overall. But Luis Smolka, man, I really liked what I saw in this fight against Alp Oskalik. Stand up, ground. I gotta go with him for the win here. Okay, on to the prelims on Fox Sports 1. We have Ed Herman versus Rafael Natal. Ed Herman has a 21-10 record with 1 no contest. 5 wins by KO or TKO, 13 wins by sub. He also has 6 losses by submission. He's 33 years old. He's a very solid fighter. He's good in every phase of the game. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills are good. He's leg locked the likes of who was that one guy he leg locked? I forgot his name. It's the coach from Tough Nations, the Australian guy. Leg locked him not too long ago. His wrestling's pretty good. I remember when he fought Clifford Starks. got a trip takedown on him, and that guy's a good wrestler. Stand-up's good, you know. You saw that against Trevor Smith, knocked out Tim Crater. Yeah, solid fighter all around. Rafael Natal, 17-5 record with 1 draw, 3 wins by KO or TKO, 8 wins by sub. He also has 4 losses by KO or TKO. 31 years old, training out of Gracie Fusion. He is a legit Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Good stand-up. He's good off his back. His fight against Tor Trong was actually really cool. You got to see him trade half-guard sweeps and whatnot. His cardio, though, isn't the greatest. I'm going to go with Rafael Natal to win this one. His offensive stand-up's not that bad. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills are solid. Might even be better than Ed Herman's. His chin, though, not the greatest. 4 of his 5 losses are by KO or TKO. Ed Herman, pretty durable guy. But nonetheless, I think that Natal is either, in a lot of phases of the game, it is as good, if not better, like in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, than Ed Herman. Okay, next fight after that, Kyoji Horiguchi fights Daron Montague. Well, Horiguchi has a 12-1 record, 8 wins by KO or TKO, 1 win by sub. He's 23 years old on a 6-fight win streak. He's got like a karate-style stand-up, hands low, wide stance, uses a lot of movement. In his fight against Dustin Peg, which is his only fight in the UFC so far, showed some really good ground and pound. He does like leaping left hooks. Daron Montague, 13-3 record, 5 wins by KO or TKO, 5 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by KO or TKO. 26 years old, training out of Millennia MMA. It's also where like Lorenz, Larkin, and Syed Awad train out of. Didn't get to see the best Daron Montague, but he fought John Dodson. And if you actually look at Montague's record, his only losses are to Ian McCall, John Dodson, and Robbie Peralta. And Robbie Peralta is like a 145er. This is a 125-pound fight. Horiguchi, when he fought Peg, I mean, he got his back taken the first round. You know, but Peg is definitely a lot bigger than Horiguchi. But nonetheless, I like, even though he didn't look that good against Dodson, I mean, it's going to be hard to look good against Dodson. I think Daron Montague just has a couple more well-rounded skills, a more well-rounded skill set. I'll go Daron Montague to win that one. Okay, next fight off that, Jan Cabral fights Zach Cummings. Zach Cummings has a 16-3 record, 4 wins by KO or TKO, 9 wins by sub. He's 29 years old on a 3-fight win streak. He's got some good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills, really good front chokes. He won his last fight by like a Bravo choke. Stand-up's average, you know. He's been around the block. I think this fight was scheduled before Zach Cummings came in way overweight, and fight never happened. Jan Cabral, 11-0 undefeated record, 10 wins by sub, 1 win by decision. He's 30 years old, training out of Nobu now, and he is a legit Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He has a really good mount, too. I remember that. I think he fought, Danny Mitchell in his last fight. Took him to the ground, passed to dominant positions and whatnot. So, yeah, I think that was Jan Cabral. It could be someone else. No, I think it's Jan Cabral. I think Jan Cabral is better than Zach Cummings on the ground. I'm going to go with Jan Cabral to win that one. And finally, very odd matchmaking here as Johnny Eduardo fights Eddie Wineland. Now, Johnny Eduardo has a 26-9 record, 6 wins by KO or TKO, 13 wins by sub. He has 7 losses by submission. He's 35 years old, training out of Nobunya, and he last fought in May 2012. I think that was over a win over Jeff Curran. Okay, Eddie Wineland, former title contender, perennial top 10 bantamweight, 21-9 record with 1 draw, 11 wins by KO or TKO, 5 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by KO or TKO, 4 losses by sub. Despite those losses by KO or TKO, he's shown to have a really good chin. I mean, he got TKO'd by Herman Barral by a spinning back kick that kind of like grazed his face, and then follow up ground and pound. Trains out of Wineland, Valley Tudo. Other guys that train out of there would be Darren Elkins. He has some solid boxing. Uses combinations well. He's always pushing forward. He uses straight punches. I really like that. His takedown defense is solid. That guy is hard to take down. He's always pushing forward. I gotta go with Eddie Wineland to win this one. I don't know if they just want to give the guy a win or something. It just seems weird from a rankings perspective that fight's happening. Getting on to the Fight Pass prelims. Manny Gamburyan fights Nick Lentz. Manny Gamburyan has a 13-7 record with 1 no contest. 2 wins by KO or TKO, 6 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by KO or TKO. 32 years old, training out of Team Hyaston and Glendale Fighting Club. Other person that trains out there, Ronda Rousey. He has a judo base, good top control. Stand-up's like average. It's good. It's not great. Kind of heavy-handed though. Nick Lentz, 24-6 record, 2 draws and 1 no contest. 6 wins by KO or TKO, 10 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by KO or TKO. He's 29 years old, training out of ATT. This guy is big for 145, and he is a notorious grinder. You can even see it, like you can see him fight like Joaquin Diaz or like Diego Nunez. This guy just clinch, put you up against the cage, force the takedown, uses wrestling, maybe take the back, and just grind, man. The stand-up's actually not too bad, and his overall Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills aren't that bad. But his style of fighting definitely is to grind. If you watch Manny Gamburyan's last fight against Dennis Seaver, you can actually see Dennis Seaver working more of a grinding game to beat Manny Gamburyan. He took him down, took his back, kind of just grinded on him, more control. Nick Lentz can probably utilize that same game plan that Dennis Seaver utilized. I gotta go with Nick Lentz to win that one. Unless then Nick Lentz lost too, so it's to like Chad Mendes. It's Chad Mendes. That guy's really good. Next fight after that, Justin Salas fights Ben Wall. Ben Wall, 7-1 record with 1 draw, 2 wins by sub, 5 wins by decision. 25 years old. He's on one of the Ultimate Fighters. I think Tough Smashes, if I'm not mistaken. And he also got smashed by Alex Garcia in his last fight. Salas, 11-5 record, 3 wins by KO or TKO, 3 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by KO or TKO and 3 losses by sub. He's 32 years old, training out of Grudge. He's a good wrestler with actually improving stand-up. He lost to Thiago Tavares in the last fight, but like Thiago Tavares, especially on the ground, so much better than Justin Salas. No surprise he lost that one. I think he beats Ben Wall though. Gotta go Justin Salas to win that one. And finally, Anthony Lapsley fights Albert Tumanov. Lapsley has a 23-6 record with 2 no contests, 3 wins by KO or TKO, 16 wins by sub. He also has 4 losses by submission, 34 years old. He's actually a pretty good wrestler. He's got good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills. Most recently fought Jason High. Not the greatest performance or anything. Albert Tumanov, 12-2 record, 8 wins by KO TKO, 4 wins by decision. He's only 22 years old. He's got some solid stand-up. I think he lost to Alcantara in his last fight, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it was Eldemar Alcantara. Nonetheless, I'm not terribly impressed with Anthony Lapsley. I'll go with Albert Tumanov to win that one. Okay, to recap, on the main card, I have Matt Brown beating Erick Silva, Lorenz Larkin over Philippou, Erick Koch over Darren Cruickshank, Tim Means beating Neil Magny, Palelei over Ruan, and Luis Smolka beating Chris Cariaso. On the Fox Sports 1 prelims, I have Rafael Natal over Ed Herman, Darrell Montague beating Kyoji Horiguchi, Jan Cabral over Zach Cummings, and Eddie Wineland over Johnny Eduardo. On the Fight Pass prelims, I have Nick Lentz beating Manny Gamburyan, Justin Salas beating Benoit, and Albert Tumanov over Anthony Lapsley. So that's it for my predictions for UFC Fight Night 40, Brown versus Silva. If you have any comments, just leave them below. And that's it for MMA for you. Thank you guys very much.